Hello and welcome to another weekly episode of the Be Your Fridge podcast. On this week's episode, what the Dunkel?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, your home of Real Beer, Real Breweries, Real Opinions, the Be Your Fridge podcast. As always, if you listen to this episode, make sure you subscribe, hit that ding-a-ling-a-ling to be notified of every single episode. You can show your support by giving us a 5-star rating. You can show your official support as well by going to patreon.com/Be Your Fridge podcast. My name is Gavin. I've got my usual drinking friends in the form of Callum, Scott, and MD. Good evening.
Good eve.
Hello.
We have opinions this week, apparently.
We do.
That's good. It's good we've added them back in.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to have twice the amount of opinions this week to make up for the lack of opinions last week. So fucking fasten your seatbelts.
Either that or get your helmets on.
No.
Or if our listenership is anything like I think they are, take your helmets off.
Let's kick off as we normally do and go around the table and see what we're drinking and kick things off.
Let's go around the table.
Callum, what you got? Helmet on or helmet off?
Helmet fully on at these prices.
Showing the growler here on the screen.
Oh, there he is. You put your growler away, you dirty bastard. Well, it took so long for us to get all set up and started that I'm almost finished my first beer. But that's good because we've spoken about it many times. It's Rheinbacher Pilsner from Aldi, 4.5% premium German Pilsner, brewed in accordance with the German purity laws. Now at the all new low price of £1.47, and I really didn't think you can grumble at that. To be fair, so I didn't grumble at one drop. So I'm just about finished that, and I've got a lovely Sure Shot dipper to open up just shortly.
Nice. Gilroy.
So I've made another trip over to Denmark, which is quite good. My fabulously tall friend, as we mentioned last week, brought me back a couple of beers from Dansk. This is a Mikkeller beer. It is Burst. It is a 5.5% ABV IPA. Clues in the name, it's bursting with juicy, sweet flavours. Makes this IPA unique as its hint of gum aromas, followed by fresh citrus. It's light to medium body with a flavourful pineapple and grapefruit bitterness. It does exactly as that describes. It's got that kind of. It does have a kind of sweet, almost bubblegummy kind of initial aroma to it, but then. It fades away. It's like it's well executed, hence levels above. But it's what a lot of supermarket hazy pales strive for, or hazy IPAs strive for, and that kind of 5.5%. But well executed. You can tell the ingredients are oomphed up. That's obviously why it would command that slightly higher price point. It's in a 330ml can, which is easy just to crush and move on to the next one on. That's excellent. Well worth it. Thanks again.
Sounds very, very good. I am on a collaboration beer between Only With Love and Heist Brew Co. It's called Naughty. It's a double dry hop pale at 4.8%. It's hot with Citra Cascade Asaka, Columbus Citra Lupo Max Cascade Cryo. This is Umbongo in a can at 4.8%. Smashable, juicy, pineapple, mango, grapefruit, all the fruits, smashing in the gob. Very nice, lovely little starter beer, full of all the bingo words that you want for an Umbongo beer. So thoroughly enjoyed that. And Heist, a previous Brewer of the Year winner on the podcast. So hats off to them, making some good beers. I never tried. We hardly tried them last year, actually. Coming to it. Shame on us. MD.
I'm on home brand tonight.
Did you know?
See, you've kept your T-shirt on. Where is it you work?
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing. If you watch, you'll see. But
Sweat
I'm-
Brewery, clearly.
I'm not. I keep my professional life really private. That's my New Year's resolution.
Is it?
We'll see. I'm on, like I say, I'm on home brand. You will. I'm trying to think. Whenever you listen to this, you might have seen, you might have not, but so this is exclusive content, I suppose, at this point. But I'm drinking Nick's Lager by West Brewery in Glasgow. It's a new 0.5% lager that is being launched, and for this year, it's just part of the Nick's range. There's a pale ale at the moment, but obviously being the kings of lager in Scotland, you've got to have a non-alcoholic lager. So this is the first ever non-alcoholic lager that West have produced. It's a dry. For me, it's more on the Pilsner side. If the bosses and that are listening, I know they'll hate me saying that right off the bat. But for me, it's a premium. It's a premium lager in terms of how it's the package, marketed, and all that kind of stuff. And how it tastes for me is kind of hitting that point. Like non-alcoholic beer, and it's dry January, so hopefully people that are listening are at least trying some of the non-alcoholic breweries and beers that are out there, because there is some decent ones, there is some not so decent ones as well, and that's part of the fun of it. For me, this is actually really palatable in terms of what you're wanting from a lager. It is a hopped lager, so there's flavour to it. It's not like
Malty water.
Water. Thank you. Yeah.
Just burped.
Well, that's part of the issue with the paler ales and with the lagers. They like when you've brewed beer, that smell that you get, and the taste that you get is really difficult to bypass on non-alcoholic beer. This tastes like beer. It's got all the lager. It's dry. It's got a moorishness about it. It is light, in terms of mouthfeel, but there's a slight bitterness to it that's like, for me, it's actually just helps hold it in the mouth that little bit longer. This has been in the growler since Friday. I haven't opened it because I wanted to. I was going to drink it over the weekend while I started dry January, and then Friday came, and I thought,
Let's get pushed.
I've got beer in the thing, so I'm going to drink some filter beer. And I thought it's a perfect opportunity to discuss it today with the whole dry January kind of obviously. And you're either in full swing or you're halfway there, basically, if you have been doing it. So keep up the good work. Like I say, this is because it's brand new. It's a nice, easy, and it's an exclusive that, well, the marketing hasn't even hit the shelves as we're speaking now. So it's cool. And hopefully I'll be able to get some bottles out to the rest of you to try, because obviously for me, it's all well and good me talking about it when I've been part of the discussions behind the scenes on how it was built, but it's good to get other feedback. It's actually just nice to drink a flavoursome non-alcoholic lager, and it's ticking all the boxes for me. So
I think the non-alcoholic lager's a tricky one to pull off because, like, I mean, obviously you're saying that there is there is a bit of hoppiness in there, which will undoubtedly help. But I find it must be easier to produce a non-alcoholic pale or a non-alcoholic hazy IPA or something like that. That's not to detract from people that are making good versions of that, but it must be the job must be at least a little bit easier when you've got that hop flavour to fall back on.
Because let's be honest, it's the yeast and everything that makes such a difference when it comes to lagers and it being lagered at the right temperature for an extended period of time. That's
so. Is this beer brewed to 0.5 or is it brewed and then the alcohol taken out?
That's brewed to 0.5.
Mm-hmm.
It's brewed at to 0.5. Yeah. So,
Well, if there's anybody who knows how to make a flavoursome, not necessarily sweet and sickly and sugary soft drink, if you like, or alternative to a soft drink, it's an Italian, right?
100%.
They love bitter soft drinks. So if I trust anybody, Lucio's got to be up there to be able to make something flavourful that doesn't have any alcohol in it. Because, like I say, they love a bitter. Italians love a bitter soft drink. If they're going to have a soft drink, it's not a Fanta or a Coca-Cola. It's some fucking bittered version of that. So it can only be good.
I've got a bit, and I know it's better than I thought it was going to be, and I think that's a real compliment to the team. For me, it's something that if you were sitting in the tap room or wherever, you could easily have a pint, half a pint, whatever it is. To like if you were going through the whole list, and you were thinking, let me just break some of this up a little bit. Yeah, I don't feel you're going to miss out, and for me, that's exactly what you want from a non-alcoholic beer. You feel like you're drinking beer, but you're not missing out. You're getting all the flavours and all the feeling that you would want, other than the buds, I suppose. And if that's what you're wanting, then fair enough.
It might fill a hole because my favourite, and I know it's not made with the same ingredients, but I like the dryness of it, was Mashgang's the stoop they did, the rice lager, the Japanese version, had that bit of dryness to it, and just it made it a lot more exciting as a drink. So if this next lager can fill that, because I know they don't do it anymore, so if it can fill that, then that's got to be good.
The thing that always hits me with the non-alcoholic beers is that aftertaste. It's the bit that sits and you're like, there's nothing there, you know, and it's that. Yeah, I can hear you.
Sick fed up with hearing you.
It's that warm, just there's just nothingness to it, or it just tastes like barley and like malt water, basically. And it's a really hard flavour to get away from, because when you don't have the actual oomph and the flavour and that, and just by adding a slight bit of the hops in here, I think, and it's not hoppy, so like if you're a lager drinker and you're thinking, oh no, I'm not drinking any of that hop shite, it doesn't come across that way at all. All it does is, for me, just adds a slight bitterness and just adds a slight bit of flavour in the back end that takes that warty, yeasty aspect away that you would normally expect from a non-alcoholic beer, and just rounds it off really nicely. So I've got to admit, the can art and everything, and I'm saying can art, the bottle art on it and the branding's really, really cool.
I can't wait to see that then. That's cool.
And really kind of like it's
simple. While we're on...
Go.
Sorry, mate, sorry.
No, go you.
I was just going to say, while we're on the non-alcoholic subject, I had a non-alcoholic beer on Sunday night. I was up at Hoose Rice's place watching some NFL, and I took a non-alcoholic beer to enjoy. And it's from Padstow Brewing Company down in Cornwall. And it's called Crew Brew. And it's brewed to support the people that are working at the Cornwall Air Ambulance.
Nice.
So every can that gets purchased, a portion of the money from that can goes to the Cornwall Air Ambulance, and it's a 0.5% hazy pale, alcohol free, and it's I actually really enjoyed it, to be fair. It had a decent amount of body. The hop flavours were there. I've been on their website. I can't find out exactly which hops were used. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you on their website, but it was perfectly pleasant, and I wouldn't be disappointed if it was given to me, or and I'd be quite happy to buy a pint in a bar and enjoy it. It was lovely. So
good stuff. Well, you can tell I'm rusty. Forget to actually turn my microphone on.
You're sounding a bit better than you were 10 minutes ago, so that's good.
It'll be crispy clean now. Fucking cool. But anyway,
I'll tell you what isn't alcohol free. Is this beer that I've just opened?
Go on then before we get some.
Before we crack on, and it's called Bigfoot Rodeo, with the typically wacky can there from Sure Shot, and it's a collaboration with Two Flints, who are a brewery in Westminster, I think I want to say, or somewhere like that. Is it Westminster? Windsor. I knew I was close. So a collaboration with them, and as it says, it's a double IPA, and this is definitely NZ hop central. This one, and it's got Motueka T90 and Hopkeef, Rawaka T90 and Hopkeef, and it's got HBC 1019. Which is obviously new enough that it's not been given a funky name yet, other than its Hop Breeding Company tag. But it's absolutely tremendous. If they were naming this hop, I reckon they could probably call it Malibu, because it's just coconuts and it's creamy and you're getting, it's just like eating a bounty on a desert island, whilst drinking, a pina colada out of coconut, whilst doing the hula.
I was going to say, you're missing an aspect there. That sounds good.
It's nice. Oh, it's really,
It looks the part like.
It's thick. I mean, you can see the colour of it, man. It's that
chunky.
You poured it into the glass, and it was that proper fudumf as it went into the glass.
Super stuff. Right then, we didn't do it last week, so let's do it this week, and we'll go around and give you the latest news in the beer world.
News update.
First thing on the cards, Gavin's got his microphone on. There you go. Fantastic. Next thing on the list is independent beer brewer in the form of Salt Beer Factory has partnered up with Molson Coors to launch a new session IPA called Alpacalypse. It's a 4.3% IPA, as mentioned. Thoughts on macro and independent collaborations? It feels awfully weird, but at the same time, like maybe given the own
Genius. From a salt point of view, the exposure that Molson Coors are going to be able to open a door for said particular beer is in a market that they don't have a brand themselves, and it also gives the on-trade an opportunity to feel like they're getting something that is independent, and is craft, and is it is independent craft. It's salt, so fair enough.
Short.
I don't know. There is some like it feels wrong. It feels a bit dirty.
It does feel dirty. Do you think though? Do you feel it's probably more Salt are doing the actual brewing side? It would be good to actually kind of find out. Is you feel like Salt are probably doing the brewing side, and it's more the kind of doors that Molson could open up, and it's just going into maybe Molson bars and stuff, and maybe they're just trying to reach a new audience in the pubs and stuff potentially.
No. Honest answer, no.
Yeah. The honest answer is I don't think Salt would have the capacity to brew to the level that Molson would need to fire this stuff out. So unless it is available, like, because
it is only an on-trade beer, just to be clear. It's not going to. It's just on-trade.
Yeah, well, we'll see on that. That's for sure. But I don't know. I think there's a few things I want to say without, but I think it's quite. I've got to kind of watch how I put it. Like, I don't think there's enough helmets in the world to fucking protect me for what I really want to say. But the tricky thing is, Molson are obviously a huge company. They have then ties to distribution networks and distribution companies that are based in the UK, and they incentivize said distribution company to push certain brands. So the fact that Salt are going to have a beer that is something that's totally different to what Molson would originally offer. Like, you know, the Molson products are coming down the line, are your Madries of the world, your Carlins, your Coors, your Starapramins, like stuff like that. Right. So it's these are the things that are then ticking, and then being able to offer something that is not like Chieftain IPA, or I'm trying to think what other IPA hits. What's the usual one that's on the on the Molson's bandwagon? If that's it is nice, and fair play, and if it's going to open up some craft, it's just, I don't know, it just sits a wee bit wrong, I think.
It is odd, but I don't dislike it. I don't hate it. It's just weird.
If the beer's got to tick boxes, it feels very Heineken buying Beavertown and buying Neck Oil.
Yes,
but it isn't though. Well, I'm hoping that they've been there. Obviously, they've got a long-standing salt. I was having a wee Google while you were talking.
I've done it before.
Yeah, but they've they're along that, obviously, that they help salt distribute.
Yeah.
So they're a distribution partner for them. So they've obviously got an ongoing relationship. To be honest, if the relationship is as healthy as it looks on the surface, and I'm not saying it always is, because nothing's ever as it seems on the outside.
Yeah.
But if they're genuinely leaving them to brew the beer with some input to say we want a 4.3% kind of session IPA to go out there and be distributed amongst other bars and stuff, as we do with loads of other stuff. Really fucking hit myself basically with my pop filter. But if they're doing that and letting them brew the beer, that's a more positive thing than what will come. I'm just a parasite who'll come in and fucking latch onto your wee brewery, which is how I feel. And I think, well, I don't think I'm being way out of turn with the rest of the people who are into craft beer, if you like, that kind of industry or area. I hate industry because it's not. It's an artisanal pursuit, but in that arena, and that's what they were like. Heineken with Beavertown, they were a parasitic relationship, and I'm hoping they too get what they want out of it, and that means it's then healthier as a result.
So salt was bought last year by a Paramount retail group.
Olsen Moors.
But they own a chocolate brand, but the Jamie Lawson, who founded Salt, and it's only 2018, so like, which I'm quite surprised at. He's still in charge, so there is obviously maybe a wee bit more money going around in terms of. I don't want to take anything away here, because like there's obviously stuff going on in the background to everything. And at the end of the day, I suppose it's another craft beer that's going to be available on bars. To be honest with you, I can't see it making it this far up. There is a wee bit of salt that kind of tickles the on trade up this neck of the woods, but I think it'll be a more down south.
It'll no doubt be everywhere in London, to be fair.
Oh, it's going to be one of the type of beers, but if it can get traction and take up, and I know it's not going to compete, they've got their own pubs and stuff, but if it can get into the conversation as a neck oil contender that was always sat in that space, which I think if it's its natural home, it feels a wee bit easier to justify, whereas obviously Neck Oil started it as this is no punk. It wasn't anywhere near the same level as Punk IPA, but it did seem like a proper craft beer, if you like, and then kind of was
probably was down south though.
Well, it was a proper craft beer, but it was parasitic, as I say. We'll come back to that word, but it feels like they've taken that recipe and the investor is then eating away, and it's ended up being a total shadow of its former self, which I suppose is one thing. And then you compare it with, but you look at Punk IPA and they've just fucking eaten themselves every possible opportunity. So I don't know, pick your poison. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a big bad wolf to blame, or only your own Wahoo owner?
Did I mention before he's on TikTok and that now?
Oh,
Thank
have
you.
you seen the guy?
Everything.
Have you seen the guy taking the piss at him?
Yeah.
The
What's his-
fish,
what's
the
his-
fisher, the fisher boat man.
What's his TikTok
I'm the
handle?
fisher boat man. Oh, I don't know.
Creepy Beaks
Yeah,
1, 2, 3.
No, I'll see
It's-
you in the balcony.
It's some of his. It's the ones with his wife.
Um,
Big
Some of
bald
them
balcony boy.
some of them are absolute. They're grotesque.
what's it,
Some of them, and
I didn't care he was married.
it's like life
that
goals. and
that
this, that, and the
Toff
next thing.
Toffolo. What's her? I can't remember first.
Oh, Toff. Georgina or Giorgio.
That's it,
Georgia.
Georgie or
Georgia
Toffolo.
Toffolo. Mhm.
That's the one.
Is he married to her?
Aye,
Is he? Aye.
aye. But the parody one's hilarious. I've got it saved. I
Aye,
would.
it's the hat. Fucking
He's
this
like,
hat, Mark. It's
I'm an
brand
angler
spanking.
on
It's
the
like
in the North Sea, and
in the North Sea.
No.
Absolutely, the guy's brilliant. He does quite a good job with the accent as well.
No.
I'll try and load it up while we
Right,
the thing, and I'll get it up in a minute. Gilroy, any news from yourself, sir? There's a couple
Well, I
of things you
suppose
said.
there was a couple of things that I mentioned today. One being our friends at Wasted Degrees have got a new, it's not new. It's just they're publicising their experience to go and brew for a day, which is seems like a pretty exclusive experience, but it's a full day. They're covering some drinks and stuff. It seems like it's pretty well booked. I mean, I think within about an hour or a couple of hours of them posting it, it was 12 slots were booked already. So
Already?
aye, there was 12 slots in it booked already. So that's obviously obviously they'll no be on the over 1 more month, but that's your year covered if you're doing things. It's a pretty exclusive event. I think it's between 9 and 4. You're brewing your beer. You get to have some influence in the style and how it's brewed. I think there's a bit of a form to what I saw on the website. It works out at 4 people. Would we say it's about 125 quid each? But for that, you get a case of beer each, and you get your whole day basically paid for. Which obviously there's refreshments in inverted commas, as they say.
Yeah.
And we were kind of comparing it against other beer experiences, but up there in that area of the country, you're comparing it against whiskey experiences. It's not against beer experiences, isn't it? It's in the Highlands, that's the kind of exclusive thing. And if obviously they're doing them in Blair Athol at the moment, but when that new spot opens, that's going to be a pretty hot ticket, I would think.
Yeah.
So good on them. It seems like quite a cool thing. Also, they're getting a hand brewing for the day to the tune of 125 quid each. So I'm not going to say it's a no frills experience by any stretch. I mean, you're not picking it up with quick save, but at the same time, I think I'm positive because we've bought the beers, we've spoken to them. You're going to get your 125 quid worth per person out of that experience, I would think, and I'm sure the guys will make it an incredible day. So if anybody's interested, I mean, makes a good present. It makes a good kind of, if you're going to go in 4 ways and go up there, you obviously there's a site where you can stay over if you're doing it in Blair Athol. You've got the train, you can get the train up there, so you're decent public transport. It's an incredible bit of the country, and it's a good bit to do. If you're going to do a 9 till 5 making some incredible beer, you might as well do it there. I'm sure it'll be a great experience. The guys, for the picture they posted today, the experience they had looked unbelievable. They looked like they were enjoying themselves, and that's a Tuesday, so
Yeah,
they're almost having as much fun as us.
That looks good. That looks very good.
Very, very
and it'll be even better. And I'm assuming they'll do it when they get in their new premises, which the drawings look. Every time they post up updates at the place, there's going to be fucking incredible. It looks like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
Definitely
tremendous.
does.
Cal, any snippets you want to share with us?
Well, yeah, I mean, after that purely positive tale there from Scott, I'm afraid that I'm going to have to bring everybody back crushing back down to earth.
Have you been onto Lidl.com and found out they've added 5 pence back onto the price of Ringbacker? Sorry, Aldi.
No, Aldi, no. It's worse, mate. It's worse. Right?
Yeah,
It is worse. That I can't believe that the words are coming out of my mouth. Right, I'm so upset. But Heineken have announced that they are dropping the alcohol level of Sol.
Ah, for goodness sake.
Right, they're dropping it from the dizzying heights of 4.2% to the meager lows of 3.4%. So I can feel the disappointment reverberating around the virtual table here at this. You know, we're all
Modelo
big.
and Corona are fucking rubbing their hands with glee there, you know?
We're all big Sol drinkers. But with a 1 week, a weekend is not a weekend without a wee 6-pack of Sol in every one of your fridges. We know that. And I just can't believe that they're knocking. They're
You need a
knocking.
bit of sunshine in your life in these.
You do, Scott. You do.
these difficult
But
times.
I'm afraid that 0.8% less sunshine is just, it's not acceptable for me.
You don't even need fucking lotion on for that.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So there you are.
It's sad. Everybody's doing that now. All the big ones are doing it.
It's true.
But
That's true.
But
I'm glad
they
they
don't.
took the time to. I'm glad they took the time to announce it.
Well, that's the thing. They won't know. No, they will. Sorry, they will, inconspicuously, and nobody will even fucking notice. And then
Was that a press release for Mr. Sol?
No, it was a
Better.
furious article in the Sun.
A furious article for the Sol, for the UK Sol Society.
But
Sol
you know, they're knocking nearly a full % off their bottles of Sol. But at the same time, from the 1st of February, this is back in towards your wheelhouse, Mark, that Heineken have also announced, or not announced, but they're set to raise their prices, their draft prices for pubs by nearly 3% as of February. So maybe that'll put folk like you in with a fighting chance of at least charting somebody's door.
No way, Heineken, man, they fucking bolt you at the wall. And to be honest with you, everybody's prices are going to go up. That's 3% is the
Meager.
that's.
I mean, when you look at what inflation is, it's not even inflation. So it's proper clickbait. I just tongue was firmly in cheek for those that didn't recognise the tone of voice. But
the Sol's quite an interesting one. Like from that, obviously the 3.4% is the duty play to get it under.
yeah, totally.
But like realistically,
What is it if they got 0.5% to play with there? So is it really 3.5 or is it?
No, it could be. That's what I'm saying. So at 4.2%, they could be like realistically, they brew the beer to 3.9%, and they
now,
yeah.
Aye. So they now.
They've probably not even changed anything. They've probably exactly
just play under the gambit as opposed to over.
All you're doing is liquoring it back slightly. I know, honestly, like. The challenge is to make the same beer, like to make it taste the same at the lower percentage, because that's at the end of the day, like I said that about drinking the non-alcoholic, that's the game. It's like, can you get everything that you need at a lower ABV? But
it's a horrible way to live your life.
It is.
Just say what we'd like you to do. I mean, if you're out there, if you've got your Sol tattoo, and you're out there a Sol diehard, then if somebody says to you, listen, you need to pay 25 pence extra a bottle of Sol, then you're happy to down that hill, surely, I mean, if you went as far as telling the Sun about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Aye.
And they've had the AI write an article telling you all about it.
On a bit more of a positive spin, there was also an article that I read. Just a quick poll across the three of you. Can anybody tell me the UK City of Culture for 2025?
Bradford.
Well, there he is. Well done, Scott. You obviously listened to the 5K minute on Fourth One this morning because it was a question.
No, I listened to it. There's somebody on Instagram news
Bradford.
got him up every now and again who keeps talking about going back to Bradford for Christmas and how much they were moving for London, and they were telling folk, and they berate every posh London student you see by telling them that Bradford is the city of culture for 2025.
So I'm delighted to read that there's a local brewery has basically jumped on the bandwagon and brewed a beer in honour of the city of Bradford getting the City of Culture. So it's Saltire Brewery which or saltier. I don't. It doesn't seem to be spelt the same way as our saltire. And it's basically it's a cask pale, 3.4% called Be Bold, and it's basically celebrating all that it is to be a Bradfordian. And yeah, at least people are getting their money's worth out of the city culture. They can tag that onto anything and hopefully sell a few bottles of beer. So good luck to them.
If anybody remember this is one for obviously the Scottish listenership, which I hope is strong, all with helmets off for this one episode.
Nah.
We will remember the Rab C. Nisbet episode with Glasgow City of Culture pretty frequently throughout by a certain Jay Cotter and Mr. Nisbet throughout. I'm sure there's a scam or something to be there's a scam to be found somewhere around about the City of Culture. So the bar, I think, and that must have been Glasgow in the 80s or 90s, was it? No, it must have been the
90s.
City of Culture, and that boy with the cone, with the traffic cone on his head, was getting full pelters at the City of Culture event. So the bar's pretty low, Bradford, but awesome.
Yeah,
Brad.
good stuff. MD, apart
You
from
raise
the
the
new...
Fucking news and MD and his fucking alcohol be shite. I'm going to tell you about this really good beer right quick.
You want me to show you this quickly? Hold on. I've loaded it up.
James Watt here, North Atlantic fishing captain and founder, CEO of Screwdog. I'm here with my new business feature, What the Fuck, answering business questions. Today's all about how to manage a scandal. Don't hate, self-regulate. And what that means is just get your own HR to investigate all the claims, and then they can just sweep it under the carpet. You know, what's a few hundred complaints out of like 8,000, like less than 0.1% or something? So easy.
It's carpet. The carpet.
That's right up there with Hector Brocklebank and HB Fash.
Am I coming up the front or the back?
That's on TikTok. Go and check out that video. Look for James E. Cotter. He's made that part. I think there's another one at least that I know of that he's done. I'm sure he'll do more. Parodying Mr. James Watt. Fucking hilarious. But yes, Gilroy, what you got?
Oh, okay.
Reload.
Well, I'll tell you about it. Just right quick because it's incredible and it's super fresh. So I made a pilgrimage to everybody's kind of shabby chic, looks like a cost cutter, but it's got some of the best craft beer in the capital and high spirits today in Gorgie. And I was looking for stuff that was dated pretty recently. And this was uploaded by them only 4 days ago. And it is pretty new. It's a track beer. And I thought it was quite timely considering we just had wild card weekend at the for the NFL playoffs. Again, helmets off. This is called Running Back. It's a 5% Motueka and Racal Pale Ale, and it showcases exactly why track or track.
I bet that's shite.
Oh, it's awful. Absolutely terrible. If I could put it back in the can and resell it, I would get back to them for a full refund. Absolutely not. It's unbelievable.
Put your willy in the cannon when you're pushing that out and it'll still be better than fucking Tenants.
Unbelievable. It is sublime. It's just...
There's your episode title, Gav. Put your willy in the can.
Don't hate, self-regulate. There it is. See me up. January 14th, 2025. Don't hate, self-regulate.
Only cans next.
Only cans. It's NZ hot at their absolute finest. I love, like, ever since I heard about it and smelt it for the first time in Stuart Brewing, the first time we did Mark's Wedding Beers at the craft beer kitchen, Raquel, I've got a soft spot for big time, and it's unbelievable. It's different class. If you get the chance to pick it up, definitely do so. It's why we drink the beers we drink, and we talk the shit we talk, because people in Manchester and other places in the country come up with beers like that.
Right, do stuff
It's
like that. Every now and again, you get to talk about a beer like that, you know, and it's a genuine pleasure to drink and enjoy. And
just incredible.
Well, you're
Fresh.
the question on my list.
I don't really know how we can.
Go on then.
I was just saying, I don't really know how we can follow up on that, to be fair, in terms of beer
true.
today. So
No, aye. Tracker normally always tippity top of any list. In fairness, and it probably answers the question from you, Gilroy, and it's something we've not spoke about yet this year so far. Is guests that we want to see come to the podcast, kind of dream guests that we want to speak to this year, and I suppose top 5 on that list has to be Track.
I'd say so, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Any other ones you want to add to that list?
It's only so we can buy and
Aye.
drink some gold tops together. That would be good.
Oh, a full gold top episode. Christ. That would be messy.
The shiny episode, that would be good.
That would be
Who
shit.
else?
I mean, I would like.
Can we get somebody else from West that kens what they're talking about?
No, Christ.
there's maybe.
Sorry, Cal, I stepped on your toes there.
no, I was just going to say I'm looking forward to hopefully catching up with Andre from Not That California.
Yeah.
Again, sometime soon. He's been making strides and, you know, jumping over various hurdles and through various hoops that has to be jumped through in order to get himself up and running and in a position to start selling craft beer to the masses in Falkirk. So I can even smell an on-site podcast at the beer hall. So that's definitely on the list for this year at some point.
I was going to say, have you been in yet? No.
No, I've not been in yet.
All right, so the place looks good. Like,
Still, I mean, that better be the thing with opening up and everything. It better be the reason why anybody would go to Falkirk.
I mean,
it has to be.
I mean, if you're going for beer, aye.
Well, if you're going for it,
What else you going to Falkirk for?
Well,
there's nothing there.
the bingo.
The bingo. Aye, good.
The bingo.
Used to be Falkirk was the destination where we are, and this has come back a bit and
Christ.
nostalgia and stuff. But it was the only place you could get a cinema. It wasn't.
Aye, but I can remember like
back in the day.
seeing the days before Livingston was a thing for shopping and all that. Like we used to go down and date. Like my mum and dad would do their Christmas shopping in Falkirk and all the rest of it.
100%.
Again,
Falkirk was
you fucking go down. You go down and you spend all day in Falkirk. And you're right, you know, before it was a thing to go up to Livingston to go to the shops with your pals or go to the pictures. It was doing to the pictures in Falkirk.
Yeah.
down to Matheson's and have a roll and bacon that was threatened with heat.
Aye. Questionable sausage.
Aye. What we could do is warm this through or just stick it in the roll. Just stick it in the roll. All right, the lad will only choke to death. It's fine.
My hands are quite warm. That'll do.
I would love
Masters
to get.
have underdone bacon since 1993.
I would love to get this year on the podcast Pressure Drop. I think there's a brewery that doesn't get spoken about enough in terms of the best breweries in the country. They do one of the best beers in the land in the form of Alligator Tugboat, which is fucking spectacular. And it'll kind of roll into another question that we're going to kind of talk about later on. But Pressure Drop for me would be awesome. They just didn't get enough. I don't think they get enough coverage, enough credit. And they make some fucking brilliant beers, man.
What about you, Mark?
I've got Burning Sky, Otherworld, and the Kernel.
Oh,
Was that
Otherworld, definitely. I definitely want to get Otherworld on to have a beak.
I think Otherworld, from a Scottish perspective, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. For me, I've started thinking about like we obviously based up this neck of the woods where we predominantly buy and we drink and we talk Scottish beer, but one thing about the Beer Writers Guild that kind of stood out to me was how small the beer industry is across the UK. Never mind how small it is across like Scotland.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do a better job of kind of opening ourselves up to more UK breweries. Obviously, we've done quite a lot across some of our best episodes have been breweries for down south and that as well, which makes sense. And the other one that just jumped into my head there is Elusive. I think it's an absolute like a no-brainer
Christ.
as well. So for me, if we can, by the end of the year, if we hit Track, Not That California, Burning Skies, Otherworld, Pressure Drop, The Kernel, and Elusive, I think we'll be doing all right.
I think we'll just call it quits after that.
Fuck.
Just be like, done.
But the thing is, like, I think for me, and I said this last year, like, I really want to go big. Like, I want to go big game hunting. Like, I would love to get somebody on for Molson Coors. I would love to get somebody on for Heineken. I would love to speak to somebody at Green King. I would love to speak to somebody at Tennants in terms of, you know, and just to really iron out, like, beer and in general. You know, obviously we predominantly talk about craft. But I think with everything that even with the salt thing that we spoke about earlier, the lines are blurring. Like, people's taste buds are in that ever changing wheel that we've always mentioned. And you know, I've never been more focused on wheat beer, lager, and you know, and IPA as a general, but other styles of beer like that, I'm honestly, I'm not interested. Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the fridge earlier, and I'm just like, there's tons of stouts, there's tons of sours. I'm just I didn't really want them. So for me, it's like, where can we tackle these styles that I'm interested in at this moment in time? Who are doing them in the biggest volume and the best variety? And Callum's mentioned this umpteen times, and we've never done it, is doing blind taste tests. Sorry, guys.
No, I totally agree, and obviously it necessitates us being together, or at least two or three of us being together. But yeah, I really want to try that. I really want to try like a supermarket pale. I want to try supermarket lagers mixed in with a craft lager here and there, that kind of thing. I think it would be really interesting. And not, you know, obviously we're extremely critical of each other and extremely quick to take the piss out of each other, and there will be a comedic element to it, you know, as there always is with what we do. But all seriousness, it would be really interesting for me to pour a Tennants and, you know, an Innocent Gun and you know, a Carling or fucking whatever and into some glasses and get you two to taste them and think, and you know, just to see if you can even remotely identify what you're drinking.
I think
I could sniff it Tennants a mile away.
You wake up in the middle of the night hearing it.
But aye, there's a scope here for us to do a lot more. Kind of do things we never did before, and focus a wee bit more, which would be good fun. It should be a good year. Looking forward to it, definitely. We'll have a wee bit of fun.
Can I ask, and I suppose, just like obviously for the folk that are listening, send us a message with breweries that you want on the podcast. There's no point. Like,
we'll try our best.
The thing is, if you send us a message and you tag said brewery on Instagram or fucking Facebook or Twitter or B Sky or whatever the heck it is these days or whatever, and
Sky?
It's a blue sky. What is that?
It's the Twitter alternative.
It's it's the non-alcoholic version of Twitter. So then tag them in, you know, and it makes.
I know Jamie's pod choice for getting somebody on would be Emperors. It would be up there on my list as well. Because he's an absolute wahoo. The best thing, the best will in the world, an absolute zoomer.
Yes, you're right, because I watched the Planet TV and the Bruiser collab thing when they released the what's the pack they do every year, the collaboration thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that thing, and the Planet TV guys did some interviews and stuff, and the Emperor guy was on it, and he looks like a shit ton of fun to talk to.
Aye,
He's got a
just
full
so
room
much.
behind him, full of fucking like Star Wars memorabilia, and it's just like I was like, holy fuck, that's amazing. Don't get me
But
wrong, I'm not a
he
massive
also
Star Wars guy, but shit.
but makes by hand, and I mean by hand, like with grain and stuff spewing out the top, grain and adjunct spewing out the top of his brewery. As I think he's in 12% chocolate, maple, and pecan imperial porter that graces the shelves of none other than the wee beer shop. So, and it's making it all over the shop, this thing, and it's getting some serious hype, as of all his beers beforehand. But I know that Jamie gave it. He got some rave reviews. Superb, sickly, not overly, and 330 mils at will bang. So that was his review. He stopped off, made a special stop off. I don't know if he'll thank me for saying this or not, but made a special stop off in his train on the way up the road to dip into the beer shop at Newcastle Station to nabby sell a can for the rest of his journey home. So his journey back to the borders from Newcastle was improved markedly so by Emperor's latest effort, or their Christmas effort, which was that's just wild. 12% maple pecans, and you can tell it'd be like molasses coming out the can and stuff as well. Just be insane beer.
Indeed.
Stuff that dyes your plastic tumbler when you're at beer events.
Aye,
which you can tell it's a good stout when it dyes the plastic tumbler. You get the taste in it.
We will dive into some hype beers and a hype discussion in a moment, but something a wee bit more light-hearted, a bit more fun. This segment might only last 1 week because I just came up with it an hour before recording. But what the Dunkel?
What the Dunkel?
Some funny videos and some
promotional
epic...
material there.
Yeah, I know. I meant to cut that off. And some epic videos that I've come across over the last couple of weeks, and I wanted to share with you because I thought they were funny. And yeah, let's go with Let's go with this first one.
Right, look at this, right? You wouldn't believe I've just had a man at my door. Where is he? Right? He must be. He's offering people, right, bags of Monster Munch and tins of Iron Brew if you fucking toss him off. Alright? Now, he's just walked down there. Right? So, just watch what he's doing like. Fucking maniacs out there, man.
The accent does it the world of good.
If you can watch us on video, at least watch that little segment there, because it'll explain our laughter. That's brilliant. I love that one.
Funny. That is so funny.
That's one you've got to watch, but it's well worth it. The payoff's incredible. The accent's superb.
Watch on YouTube, and if you're a Spotify listener, you should get the video as well.
It's referred to the Iron Brew as a tin, you know. Tins of Iron Brew.
See, the daft thing is, right? See, when I came across that video, I was watching, I was like, oh, Christ, like, that's just mental. Like, taking it dead seriously. And then it was when he lifts his hand up, and then you see the Iron Brew in the Monster Munch. Too funny. Like I said, that might only last 1 week, but hey ho. That was
I'm going
what
to be on
the
the hunt. I'm going to be on the hunt for other ones.
Right, we mentioned earlier on about hype beers and stuff, and I obviously touched on very briefly, Pressure Point and Alligator Tugboat and stuff. We also know it's
Pressure
kind
Drop.
of getting... Oh, yes, Pressure Drop, excuse me. We know it's going to end up being Verdant and putty season soon. And the question is, does the hype live up to the liquid inside the can? And I think it's open to discussion here, because sometimes it does, and sometimes it's a wee bit disappointing.
Or whether the liquid in the can lives up to the hype. It's up to you.
What did I say?
Just the other way around.
Oh,
It
did
had the exact same effect, just the other way around.
Perfect.
The I'm worried. I'm always worried about Putty. I always think this will be the year that everybody wanders away. I'm always wrong, and I'm always the one that jumps in. But I think this year we'll let the hypers hype, and I'm going to go and try and find other beers to talk about that just happen to come out in the same week. It's like, although I can see, if you look at Grunting Growler, if you look at, I'm just naming beer shops that are quite good at giving it, this is what we've got in this week. And obviously we know Grunting Growler are quite good wee beer shop.
Wee beer shop, aye.
Every week. The High Spirits, even I mentioned them already, they do quite a good job on Facebook at updating stuff. It's like books, like that point where everybody tries to get kind of Christmas on the Christmas bestseller list about November time, end of October, beginning of November time. Ian Rankin releases a book, and ex-Ghost-written sports star releases a book at the same time, and they're all fighting for the same spot. People will try and avoid this week that Putty will come in. And the only real contender that can live up to it is an alligator tugboat, which just lives in its own space. And I think just does what it wants quietly and gets bought by everybody at the same time. But I'm going to look for those that are or do decide to release beers in and around that period and that are worth talking about in the same space and try and hype them a bit, I think.
See, I just get FOMO. Like, I tried to no day Putty last year. I got complete FOMO. And I was like, shit.
Ended up coming all the way up here to have it live as it was performed, I believe.
Well, I didn't.
Did you ever get that round of golf at Loch Lomond?
No. It was Glen
Eagles, I think. But,
so I never bought Putty straight up. End up because I was like, oh shit, I've missed it. I ended up buying, like, was it triple or was it double Putty?
It was the tipper last year.
Aye, and I end up buying that, and I was like, all right, whatever. But even see when we had it in Edinburgh,
it evaporated in the can. It was just an empty tin you bought.
Like, I was just like, I was all up for the hype, and I was buzzing.
But it was okay. Like, I didn't get me wrong. Like if I had went in and seen, there's a Verdant double on tap, and you'd got a third, and it was lovely. You know, it was a nice beer, but it wasn't the best beer I've ever had. And I just think we often ask the question, who's it for? And, you know, I think if Verdant brew a double IPA, they're going to fucking sell it all, really, realistically, you know, whether it's bottle shops or pubs or you know, guest spots in different craft beer establishments around the country. If Verdant decide to brew a double IPA, it's going to sell. And if Verdant decide to brew a triple IPA, it's going to sell. It's just like, what's the point in the hype? Because I would love to get like a blind taste. Like, I'd love to get a can of the hypiest of hype beers. Get a can of it and put it to the test with somebody else's double IPA and see if it can stand up. I suspect probably not.
I'd much prefer to have, if you're going for the original version or the whatever, I'd much rather have, and it would need to be really, it's impossible, it's so specific, but it would need to be my very first can on unconventional tactics over and over and over again. So I don't think it's their best, I think it's their best beer. I don't think it's the in the day beers that are lighter on ABV that are better than Putty. And they definitely could do a better triple. So if you had super unconventional tactics or really unconventional tactics with a fatter looking samurai on the a la Chris Farley, that would be I would queue up for that.
Where I think it succeeds
it's not worth queuing up.
No, but where I think it succeeds as a marketing ploy is that I don't know if any of our lovely listeners have read my recent blog post, but perfection is about lots of different things, not just about the taste. And I think what Putty hits on is that nostalgic, that aspect of a beer, like you're saying, Scott. It's an experience that you're trying to recreate, rather than, you know, yes, the beer is part of that, but it's an experience that you're trying to recreate. That first beer. And that's what they're selling is, oh yeah, this is a return to that first time that you had putty, this first time that you tried it, this is a return, and this is going to reignite the same flame inside the original one did. And does it ever really? It can anything ever live up to your own ideal of what it should be?
And see, if it didn't, one, you still bought it, and two, you're still going to talk about it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's true.
And that's why umpteen times for umpteen years we've been saying it's proper genius.
What what ABV is it sitting at? I'm trying to find it and I can't fucking find it.
6.66. Mark, you were going to come in with something there. Go for it.
Sorry, Mark.
No, it's all good. See, for me, this the hype versus the liquid is something I'm kind of like, with everything that's kind of been rumbling with Psych and Putty and the usual alligator tugboat and all this time of the year, and we've had, for me, it's like there's kind of like two parts to it, and that's why when I wrote it down, like on the chat earlier, like, for me, the hype piece is it's a total necessity for putting your brewery on map and having your day. And we've got Putty Day, we've got Big Moose Day, we've got you name the day, there's a day. Right. The thing that is starting to annoy me now is that people are going to, and it's like you're buying this beer because of the hype and not because of the liquid. Do you know what I mean? Like you're saying, like I had FOMO about it, and that's great, and that's the marketing genius behind it that we keep coming back to. But because of the hype, there's a limited demand, so you can charge £8 a can, right? Or £10 a can. Put the triple was, if I remember correctly. And I can almost guarantee the price will be more than that this year with inflation and all that kind of stuff. But the point that I keep coming back to is that it's more about buying it for the hype than it is for the liquid. You know what I really want them to do? I want them to hype a fucking Pliny the Elder Day and bring Pliny the Elder out here and launch it into the UK. Because it'll break, like, the folk that are going out to drink that beer are the proper craft beer wankers. The folk that
or a non-alcoholic putty. Let's hype it and see how successful it is.
They had the chance, didn't they? Like they released Psych instead.
Aye. So there was comments or see on that, like the fucking mystic message that they left. There was comments on it going, "Oh, it's non-alcoholic putty," which would have made sense, to be fair. But they must have tricked them.
But at the same time, that non-alcoholic putty, unless they were 100% convinced that.
You would need to be convinced it was the beer.
It's never like that breaks the putty. That breaks the myth. It breaks the like.
Do you know? Think they would date? But do you not think though they would date once just to get because everyone would fucking buy it?
No, because if it flops like a non-alcoholic, like the potential, it's like it's the. I'm not saying it's their golden ticket because I think, like we've said, I think they make better beers, right? But this is their day. This is their hype train. This is their one opportunity a year. I'm saying their one opportunity because they obviously launch other stuff. Everything that you just mentioned earlier. Nobody's releasing a beer on the same day as this. They have the entire industry in the palm of their hands for putty.
So even the day, it's like the week after, before, because everyone's going.
But the crazy thing is,
because there'll be folk like us going, I'm pausing my bruiser because I'm going to buy putty.
But how good is that? Then how long? Like, what do they get out of that? Because obviously there's bars will be queuing up to say we want to be the ones in Edinburgh, like Salthorse did before. We want to be the ones that have got putty in and all that kind of stuff. And you send a lot of trade their way, so they'll get something out of it. But I wonder how much of the year, if anything at all, probably. I don't know. Obviously, beer's no craft beer anyway, isn't it? About margin. But if you're going to do something, how much of their year does that pay for? Like, what does that let them do? Because it must be good.
Aye.
It must allow them to do things. Because it's not
good because that's why they end up doing the triple. Clearly,
there isn't a putty 6-pack. Like there isn't a putty. It's not like they bring out. I mean, if you see, they look at some of the beers they brought out towards the tail end of the year that are just unreal. Like that, I saw it the day in the shop. The collaboration with Two Flints, unreal. the NZ, we spoke about NZ hops already, but the Verdant and NZ hops collaboration, saw it in the shop again today.
Fucking light bulb.
Also looked incredible. Light bulb, streetcar.
It's putting Verdant's name in everybody's mouth again. Do you know what I mean? Like there is so many. I think your message earlier, Gil, it's the choice that we have as consumers now is unbelievable. It's the best it's ever been. It's the best it's ever been. But with that comes a saturated market, which is really difficult to differentiate. We spoke about let's try and get Otherworld on this year. Let's try and get the Kernel on. It's impossible to drink everybody's new releases. It's impossible to drink everybody's new beers, and your taste buds change. You might hit IPAs now. No, but I don't like the potty has for the first time, and I'm like, I am not buying potty. Like if I see it, and I might get it for like a can, but I'm not going to buy 6 cans because I know it's going to sit in my fridge, and it's a waste in it. But that's because where my palate is. It's not because of the hype, and you think there's no way that you can drink every new beer, every hype brewery, one of your favorite, like your favorite 10 breweries. There's no way you could drink every beer release that they do every year. Like, no, because there's just like it's impossible to keep up in terms of where it is launched, all the rest of it. Never mind how much that costs financially. But for me, this is the point I just got a bit annoyed about. It's like, here comes the old hype train again. And I know we're part of it and we've spent 10 minutes talking about it. But my point to it is, like, I think people are buying it surely for hype rather than liquid. We've went away from it's the best beers being launched. That's why I was like Pliny the Elder, like if that made an appearance in the UK as a limited release and it was whatever, like but if that was released and there was a bit of hype behind it and X, Y, and Z, right? I can understand, or Sierra Nevada drops something over here. Or, like, I'm just thinking I'm going OG just out of sheer thing. But the fact that they're based on, and I'm not saying Putty's a bad beer. It's like but I've just never been like.
No, but your expectations of it, like you're going off the hype, and then you're getting hyped up yourself, expecting it to be one of the best beers you've ever tried ever. And you've got those expectations before you even try it, and then you try it and you go, all right, it is, it's good, but it's maybe not the best. It's no like, oh my god, like
what else the hype does though?
Revelation.
It gets people onto the website, and it's like, do you know, there's only so many people that are going to be like us, and one person out of the podcast will order 6 cans and then distribute, or do you know what I mean? It's unlikely that there's going to be that many people out there that are ordering 12 cans. What's going to happen is people are going to go onto the Verdant website and they're going to be like, all right, well, I'll maybe have 2, and then, well, I'm going to order half a dozen other beers to make up my box and all the rest of it.
I think on Putty Day, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure on Putty Day the only thing you can buy off the website is just putty. You can't mix.
Really? There you are. I stand corrected.
I could be wrong. You can do 6 and you can do 6 others, but it's normally 6 packs. Verdant love a 6 of X.
But the thing is as well, like everyone's trying to replicate it now, and they notice it's marketing genius in terms of having a day. Like down here on the south coast, Umbard have Stoutzilla Day. You've got Vault City. I've just had the Iron Brew day recently, and everyone has it now. They want to have a specific day that.
I could at the door they were for them.
Aye.
So much Iron Brew back into them. You were hand the bottles back in to get your 20p.
20p, but I actually forgot it was fucking late. I didn't even notice.
Here's a wee thing, just out of sheer. I've done a bit of thing, so like no cheating, right? But
Google rate.
No Google rate, yeah. So Putty, if I go back the last 4 years of Putty, so the 20, because I'm looking at all these, we've had every version, looking at the labels, 2021, 22, definitely 2, 23 was that one. So definitely, I think we've tried them all, like looking at this, right? But anyway, what rating do you think they've had on Untapped?
Four.
So out of 5, so 2021.
What
I
one
think,
was that?
I think that'll be high.
Well, they're all the
You got
same. They're all it's double 8% double IPA. Like
I
it's
reckon
But the
that-
hop,
that-
but the hop bill changes, does it no?
it does slightly change. Aye,
So it's different beer.
it is different beer. Does it tell you?
I reckon it'll be a solid 3 out of 5 every year.
That'd
I'm
be
going.
near-
I'm going
be
the
near
first
3.5.
first year. I'm saying it's more 4-1, 4-2.
So 2021, the average rating is 4.3 out of 5.
Well done, Gav.
Point.
So there you go. Out of the 4 friends that the podcast has on that had this beer on, we scored at 4.1 or 4.2. So there you go. On record. 2022.
4.
Or
Was that the year of the triple putty?
No, it's still double.
No. Triple's
doesn't-
only been
I was
last
trying to find.
year.
I'm sure it was 2 years ago.
Was it on it?
This is before my. So
I'm saying 4.
Putty 2022, the average. So this is over 6,000 on reviews. 4.28 out of 5.
4.3, right? Okay.
5.3. Putty 23. I'm just 8% double. This one was we all had this one definitely. If I show the
That was the one that was green.
Aye.
That's the one I've still got the tumbler for. Yeah.
We had,
that one.
no, we,
Hold
we
on,
got the,
I'll-
we
no, I'll
got
show
the
you the-
triple one, I know.
this is
Yeah.
that's the 2021 version. So that's what I'm saying. Had that one too. 2023, 4.29. So 4.3 again. Hangy, and that's 7,000 folk reviewing it. And then 2024, 8%.
It's still going to be. It's probably going to finish at 4-1 just by the pure numbers of people that buy it.
4.3.
4.27. Can I just say the 6 people that in our group of friends
Your pals with.
are hanging that we know they've reviewed it at 3.8.
The 6 pals you've got in the whole world
Mm,
reviewed it.
3.8, there you go.
Is that? Do you think that's just? It's no recency bias. I don't know what you would call that. Taste bud blindness.
Maybe.
Or is it more so
nostalgia.
like? Do you think maybe so? Yes, we've done 4 renditions of it, but people that have maybe no done 4 and have only done last year's version or the year before, and then
Oh,
they're like,
here's-
oh my god.
Here's a review from a good friend of ours. If you're being honest with yourself, it's green, good body and mouthfeel, but I suspect this evolves and gets even better. I would suggest
God, I
holding
don't
back on the excitement and drink this in a few weeks.
That
Well,
feels like
that's
I said that.
that's the only experience that I've got properly, and that's the only thing that I can remember is the triple one, is the triple one that we got, and I had 4 cans, like you say, the first one was green as fuck, but then one that we had 6 months after that was brilliant because it settled down in the can.
That's my review.
That's your review, hi.
He tried to show us, but he froze on the screen.
I knew that sounded like me.
Does it?
It was good.
How many,
all right.
how many misspellings was there in it?
Just the one. probably.
Just one, aye.
Just the
No
one.
teas and putty.
Enjoy a lovely
the-
can of.
Is that the noise
That
that,
was
it
last
hits when
year's
it hits the
one,
glass, mate?
But did we know join it? Did we write that? Did we write? I'm sure there was 2 at least in the camp that were sans cans on that particular day. Do we not have a hand in that? You must have wrote it before you went whiskey golfing.
No, you're right. That year, that was 2024 one,
Yeah,
and
that
that's
no
in my
golfing?
that's in my mind. That's I think that's when you all came into to meet the Ian.
To do the podcast. To meet the-
I feel like that might have been that evening.
Lovely.
Aye. So no, I agree. Like the depending on the
I
beer,
agree
though,
with myself.
aye. I feel like I don't know, I'm right. But the thing is, I know we're focusing mainly on putty there, but other ones that get like Alligator Tugboat for me is second on the tier in terms of hype beers I think it's putty is the biggest hype, and then for me it's alligator tugboat, and then I'd fucking whatever. The rest I don't really care.
Jakehead.
Elusive.
Oh yes,
Jakehead.
true. Yes, that's very true.
Jakehead and
Actually,
Imperial Jakehead, and then Elusive, the Oregon Trail.
but I feel like for me, I'd rather have Jakehead. I'd rather do Jakehead
Oh,
and putty.
100%. I'd rather Imperial Jakehead is putty.
Right. I think
I
it's
It's just the hype, man, and like I say, I know we're part of it. I think it needs to come back to the liquid, and I think when it is hyped as much, especially when you're rating something, there's a part of you that rates on, like, I think, oh shit, it's one of the biggest beers of the year, sort of thing, and you like, and it kind of, I don't want to say it clouds judgment, but
no, I think it does.
But I remember, like,
but also that to add to that bit in terms of cloud and judgment is the price you pay in a bottle shop, because it's going to be like last year. Like I said, I got FOMO. I didn't buy them. I didn't buy the after website when it came out, but my local bottle shop had them, and I paid $9.50 or whatever it was for a can, and I was like, why did I do this? And I drank it. I'm like, it's no a £9.50 beer.
But I think it's worth that for like this. Like our context, like we're going to review it and let people know about it, but at the same time, I don't know. It just kind of boils my piss a wee bit. Like I just think there's better beers.
If you're walking into a bottle shop, if you're walking into a bottle shop with £9.50 in your pocket, right?
I want other half.
I guarantee that. No, I guarantee that you can. But if you go into any bottle shop, I guarantee that you'll be able to buy 2 beers.
Oh yeah,
that are fucking brilliant, rather than buying that one beer.
Aye, what I meant there was like if I'm going to pay that type of money for a beer, like
Aye.
I want it to be another if you get another half beer, you're going to be fucking blown away. Garage or whoever it may be, like you're going to be like, holy shit, this is like different.
If you walk into that bottle shop on that day and you've never had it before, and you say, "Hey, what's fresh?" Freshest beer we've got in the shop, the one that gets everybody talking about it all year, every year, is his putty from Verdun. Verdun are excellent anyway, absolutely sublime anyway, and this is their pinnacle. Try it.
Trademark beer.
And I bet you'll rate it 4.3. Would you like to have a 4.3 beer? I mean, see that looks awful and there's also a slight decline every year by 1 or by 0.01 or 0.02. But that is by people going back to the well again, trying to recreate the same. If you try and recreate the same experience where you had your first putty, inevitably it's going to pale in comparison. That's not meant to be a pun, but it is. But if you're going in there for the first time and you're saying, "Hey, what's fresh?" You're definitely going to get punted that one, and there's absolutely no way anybody's going to direct you any otherwise, because if you were out there, if you're a brewer out there looking for a beer and you're going by on the social media is an absolute cesspit. Beer social media is worse. I mean, how many times have we talked about absolutely hate sours, tried this sour 0.5. To get a beer that's rated 4.3 is pretty good going. Consistently 4.3 over 4 attempts.
True that.
Pretty decent.
True that. I'm going to cut this short because we could go for another 20 minutes here, easy.
And we'll talk about this in another couple of weeks' time when it actually fucking comes
when it comes. Exactly.
And we've all both done
2 podcasts on putty, which is right good.
As always, if you listen to this podcast, make sure you subscribe, hit that ding-a-ling-a-ling to be notified of every single episode. As mentioned halfway through, go and check it out on YouTube. If you're watching or listening, on Spotify, have a watch as well, because you'll be able to watch us as well on Spotify. You can show your support with us a 5-star rating, or show your official support by going to patreon.com/beer fridge podcast. All the links to everything are on the Instagram page, links in the bio for the blog, all that jazz as well. And until next time, for myself and the boys, cheery bye.
Toodaloo.